Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Thompson and today we're going to talk about people first language. The difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and the lightning bug by Mark Twain. What is people first language? People first language is putting the person before the disability. It is defining who the person is first before defining what disability the person may have. We should use phrases like person with a disability or person with an intellectual disability or a person who is blind. It is not a political correctness. Instead, it demonstrates good manners, respect, the golden rule, and more. It can change the way we see a person, and it can change the way a person sees herself. Remember, the person, their strengths, and then finally, their disability. Who does first-person language address? First-person language is used to communicate appropriately and respectfully with and about an individual with disabilities. People with a disability are not retarded, autistic, blind, deaf, or learning disabled. They are people first, and they are unique and brilliant. Why is this important? People with disabilities make up the largest minority in the world. Everything except first-person languages promote pity, negative attitudes, and segregation. We shouldn't be using descriptors to define someone who has a disability. Our words and the meanings we attach to those words create attitudes, drive social policies and laws, influence our feelings and our decisions, and affect people's daily lives, and more. Language I've heard around our building, but first this quote. The first way to devalue someone is through language. We used to call the sped room, and now we call it our resource room. We used to label students as autistic or learning disabled. We used to say he has a behavior problem or he or she is lazy, when in fact, they are someone that has a disability. Options to say instead of certain others. People with disabilities instead of the handicapped or the disabled. He or she has a cognitive disability instead of he's mentally retarded. She has autism or she's autistic. She has a learning disability instead of she's learning disabled. She receives special education services instead of she's in the sped room or she's a sped student. Children without disabilities or normal or healthy students. We should say people we serve instead of clients, consumers, or recipients. We should say brain injury instead of brain damaged. The list goes on and on. These are just to name a few. Additional tips of people first language. Tips. Emphasize the person's abilities, not their limitations. Do not use language that suggests the lack of something. Emphasize the need for accessibility, not the disability. Do not use words that are offensive. Avoid language that implies negative stereotypes. And do not portray people with disabilities as an inspirational only because of their disability. Until we learn to appreciate the power of language and the importance of using it responsibly, we will continue to produce negative social consequences for those victimized by dangerous language habits. And another quote I pulled from our resources: language is powerful. Our words can have an impact on how others are viewed. I had a student in health tell me last semester that words are like weapons. This absolutely applies to those with a disability. And here are my resources. Thank you.